In this video, I'll be showing you guys step by step how to set up your first job flow, along with a brief overview of the job flow settings. And then I'm going to give you a quick tour of the Canvas builder. Okay, guys, so let's get this party started. Let's go. All right, so the first thing is you want to make sure you're in your agents tab here. All right, and then we are going to actually create a new job flow. You see the little plus sign here, click on that. All right, once we're in here, we're gonna go ahead and give your job flow a unique name. I'm just gonna call mine SpaBot. And here below, you can see where it says add to job flow group. That doesn't really matter. Think of the job flow groups kind of like just folders, just strictly for organization. And once we're done here, we're gonna go ahead and click on next, right? And then here, we're gonna have to click on the job source. We had built ours with Go High Level. And remember, once you do build this out here, this job flow will be permanently stuck to this specific source. So if you would want to add it to something else, like maybe later HubSpot, you would have to kind of rebuild it. I'm not sure, maybe later on they'll add a feature there that'll make it easier for you to actually change this. But for now, it's permanent. Okay, go ahead and click on Go High Level Sub Account. And then we choose our source here. Since we've only connected my Zen Cryo Health Ball on here, this is what will show up here. But any sub account that you connect to this specific CloseBot account will show up here. Any source that we add in the sources tab. Okay, and now that we're here, let me show you a little bit more about the connected sources, right? So we went ahead and connected the source here, and we're gonna have a couple options here. You see where it says filter by tags? When it has this little prohibited sign, what that means is that anybody who has that tag, it will not allow it to enter this job flow, right? But let's say we're going to be doing a test, right? So we're going to do AI test. And remember, all these tags here, they are populated from your Go High Level account. So if you want to add a new tag, add it in Go High Level, give it a few minutes and it should populate here, right? So here, as you can see, if they have the AI off, it will not allow it in. But if they do not have that one, but then they have the AI test, it will allow them into this job flow. And now as far as the channels here, you can kind of choose what channels. You can do all of them. Me specifically, personally, I like to just connect it to the source that I'm using. Like if I'm running ads, what I'm doing right now is I have a Facebook, Instagram, and the live chat, right? Because people usually message us because they saw our ads, and the bot will kind of take over from there. Or sometimes people actually go to our website after they see the ad, and then they might talk to the live chat there. But for now, for us, for testing, we're just going to leave it just the Facebook one, okay? Go ahead and click next. Okay, and then here, you got 4 options. 2 of them actually work. One of them is being repaired. So from scratch, basically, we have a blank canvas and we build it all out. From template here, you can go ahead and click next just to see. And you can see some of their little templates. And they're real small. They have maybe 2-3 objectives each. They're not really too complicated. And then in here, I personally haven't tried the AI prompt, but I've heard things that when it was working very well. And then later on, there will be a marketplace here. You never know, you might find one of my bots on there, right? But today, we're going to go ahead and build from scratch. Go ahead, hit next, hit deploy. All right, perfect. So here we are actually in the job flow builder now. And now we're going to go over kind of like the UI here, what you see here. So on the bottom, this is where you save after you make changes. This is actually where you publish it after you make the changes, so it goes live. And then here you can click on this one. It will open up a testing portal and it will test the objectives that you may already have. And then down here is the settings, which is our next stop, okay? Here, as you can see, we are in the personas tab, right? Zoom it in for you, give you guys a better look here. Oh, let's see, actually, we'll just leave it like that, okay. So as you can see here, we have 2 personas. When you click on one persona, it should apply a shadow to the back, and that's how you know that is the persona that is gonna be used for this specific job flow, all right? You can interchange, but you can only use one at a time. And remember, you can use the persona in multiple job flows. So once you've chosen your persona, in this case, it's Emily. We're gonna go to sources. And then here, You can kind of add another source if you want to this specific job flow, or you can make changes to the tags, kind of like in the other area when we first set up the job flow. It's very similar. And now as far as now we get to the job information tab here, right? And here, usually you would put something like while the conversation is happening, right? Like you want to give the bot context. We got a message from the contact that may be interested in our services. They probably saw one of our ads on Facebook or Google. And then that's it. I mean, you can test it here, but really I like to give it just a real quick short context. Okay, now that we get to the important business information, here's where you put like your hours, the services you offer, and maybe some pricing. That's kind of what I use. Right now, we're not going to put anything in here. I'm just giving you an understanding. Once we actually start building the bot, and later on, we're going to come back in here and actually put this information so the bot can actually reference it when it's responding. Okay. Now, as far as the job flow variables here, these job flow variables work very similar to the Go High Level custom values, right? So I wanted to show you here real quick. So let's say we create, let's say business information, right? Important business info, right? Go ahead and click add the property. And then here we can save it, update it. And also remember, in order for those job flow variables to actually appear, we have to go to the sources here, edit the source, and then we're going to come to the job flow variables. And oh, it hasn't updated yet. Okay, all right, there it is. As you can see here, you see these are the different job flows we connected to this source. And you can see right here where it says SpaBot, right? And in here, we can put like hours of operation, business, location, services, basically anything, right? So we can basically, you'd want to fill this up with the actual information. You can go ahead and hit save and close here, right? And once you've already saved it there, when you come over here, go back into the settings, go into job information. And in here, we can actually click the little plus sign over here, and it will bring up some options. And you see the source here? That's the important business information that we created. So now, when you have that in there, it will actually pull all the data that we put in here. So it's kind of like I mentioned, like a Go High Level custom value. You could do it that way, or you can just put the information there. It's really up to you. But personally, I put it in the sources, so I have a place that I can just go and update it. Okay. And then now we're done there with the job flow variables, or at least a brief description. Later on in the other videos, I'll go more in depth on actually how we set that up for different properties. Okay. And then the last thing here on the settings is we have the follow-ups, right? And right now they're not working too well, so I'm not really using them. I know that they have been talking about that they're optimizing it right now, so I'm looking forward to them to actually doing that so I can test it out again. But just to give you a brief overview of how it works here, you can enable follow-ups, right? And enable follow-ups, basically, if they're on an objective and you ask them a question like for their phone number and they don't actually reply, it will wait 5 minutes and then it will send a follow-up, okay? And it does it anytime, unless when we go back over here to the sources section and you go to availability. Remember this? I showed you guys this in the other videos when we're setting up our sources. This kind of creates the time window in which the bot will respond with the follow-ups. So if we have this here set max 5 o'clock, and then you're talking to the person at 5:30, then they don't respond, it won't actually send a follow-up. It'll wait till the next day at 8 a.m. to do the follow-up. Okay, now when you enable smart follow-ups, from my understanding is if somebody says, hey, contact me in 2 weeks, it'll actually follow up in 2 weeks. I know they're still trying to dial this down, so I'm not using it personally. And then the follow up is if they don't actually respond, it'll just keep sending one message, maybe every other week, depending on what you decide here. You can go hours, days, weeks, months. You can put more than one follow up, maybe 2 hours. Okay. And then once you're done with your settings here, you save it and close it, right? Like I said, I'm not using this at the moment because they're still optimizing it. Go ahead, save and close. Save it. Publish it. That way the settings are there. And now we're going to talk a little bit about the job builder. All right, so one of the first things I'm going to show you here is actually how to move your canvas. You can left click here and you see the little hand grabs, and then you can move it around. And let's say you want to zoom. And remember, guys, I'm using Windows. I'll try to give you the hotkeys or any type of differences for Mac. But for Windows, when you want to zoom into your canvas, you hold Control and then you scroll up or you scroll down. All right, now the next thing is basically how to move these actions here. I'm not going to go too much into detail on these actions until the next video, where I'm going to go very in depth on most of these things here. But for now, I'm just going to teach you how to use the builder, how to add actions, how to connect actions. All right? And let's say you don't want it to connect to that one anymore, right? You can go ahead and click on it, and through Windows, you hit backspace. And I believe on Mac, it is delete. And let's say we want to add another objective, right? And let's say we don't like this objective anymore. You can click the little X to delete it there, or you can hit backspace on Windows or delete on Mac, okay? So let's say, now I'm going to show you some other little tips here on actually how to maybe click on multiple actions at the same time, right? It's got a couple options here. You can hold Shift, and then you can highlight whatever actions it is you want to move. You have to highlight it all for it to actually capture it. And then you left click and hold, and then you can move it all around here. But let's say you want to just highlight this one and not this one. You can always hit click on it till it's highlighted, then hold Control, and then left click, and then hold click, and then you can move it around. Okay, so pretty much that's it for like the little shortcuts. Me personally, and honestly, about 90% of bots, they just need a few objectives. What I personally use the most is right here, and then switch, and then a branch, and then they'll stop responding. Stay tuned for the next video where we're actually going to start building our bot, building our objectives, and it's going to get heavy and awesome. You're going to love it. It's going to be deep. So bring your coffee and let's get this party started.